Oh my goodness. Okay. There's a lot going on in P. Diddy world. Just when you think that everything is over, it's not. And someone, and thank goodness, thank goodness that there is one person that is not out trying to get a bag. Nah, no, no, no. After true justice. Now, many people who go through some type of traumatic experience, someone does something terrible to them, they're too afraid to talk about it, and they stay silent. When they do come out and talk about it, they go after money. Now, for me, I'm just like, it is really kind of hard to take that person seriously. Now, I'm not saying what they went through wasn't traumatic. No, I'm not saying that. They didn't go after justice to have that person removed from society. Now, some people may say, well, I got a bag, I punished them. Yeah, you got a bag. Fine, you got that. But what about the other people? That's not going to stop that person because what if that person has money like P. Diddy? P. Diddy's a go ahead and drop somebody $30 million and keep it pushing like he has done before on so many different occasions. Nobody didn't want to go and use the court system, but this one person said, it's not about the money. I'm going for the criminal case. And this person, and I'm going to say he has filed a criminal lawsuit, not a civil, criminal. He said, I want this person off the streets. What he has done so many horrible things, and no one has taken him to task. Zero, not a one. And he's in the industry, so he's under John Doe. But I know who it is, and when he's ready to reveal himself, he will. Now, this person has worked with many artists, helping them out, getting them from point A to point B. Mm, excuse me. Now, this includes P. Diddy, C.J. Wallace, and that right there is Biggie's son, and some other people in revolt. I'm like, oh, oh my goodness, this is getting a bit, woo. This person is really, he's really out for how dare you. Now, P. Diddy, that has been proven to be a person that has no problem violating men and women. Okay. So when people say that people in the LGBTQ has not ever been represented in hip hop, that's not true. But however, there are some people who misrepresent the LGBTQ by their little funky behaviors and their, I'll put horrible behaviors that put them in a bad light. So I'm going to push that aside and let's just deal with P. Diddy being the scumbag that he is. Now, mm, let me go back a little bit to Cassie. Now, Cassie was a victim, and some people may say she was also a victimizer. Now, that right there remains to be seen. Now, I do have my feelings, but that has nothing to do with all of you. He has shown a pattern of behavior to where he has no off button. Nobody in his circle said no. No one said, hey, that is not cool. Don't do it. Nobody in his circle did that. Now, fast forward to this person in 2025 filed a lawsuit. I think it was in May because he starts other he saw Lil Rod come out and say P Diddy did this to me. He violated me like this. he held a contract over me. Other people that he sort of kicked out of the circle, he kept them from getting work and using his long arm and blacklisting people. And it's interesting because his influence not only was in, in the entertainment business, but it also reached into other avenues as well. So basically, he had a stronghold on their income, whether if they were on the side of the Potomac River in D.C. having a black skillet cooking their food and next to the Potomac River. That's what that right there's what type of influence that he had. Sad, but true. Unfortunately, people have that type of influence to where other people fall in a line and to do the dirty work or to continue to do doing the dirty work that the other person put out there. Having said all that, let's get into it. This guy, John Doe, like I said, he worked with many other people. I'm not going to give any names who it was, but he said that he had a great opportunity to work with CJ Walker, Wallace, because his girlfriend at the time was saying, "Hey, why don't you do a movie about Biggie? Do a movie about him." How you doing? I'm live streaming. Okay, how you doing? Okay, he was doing a documentary about Biggie Smalls, and and put him into the way of CJ Wallace. And the way she did it in such a way that made me think, did his girlfriend set him up? I don't know. I'm just like, and so he also mentioned that his girlfriend's Dominican. I'm like, okay, all right, so what? Okay, hurrah. So as they started to shoot the video or the documentary, CJ had all of the clothes of his dad and laid everything out, and they were picking and choosing what they wanted to have into the documentary. So P. Diddy, he hears about it in some manner, and then he comes over and he comes and talks to CJ, and then at some point he didn't talk to John Doe, but he looked at him and then he walked out. This is what he said. Then at some point, he comes back into the room where John Doe was, trying to figure out what he was going to use, and was starstruck by being around P. Diddy. So P. Diddy picked up something, I can't quite remember, but a part of his Biggie Smalls clothing. He held it, and he's sitting there, and he's using Pomerella. You know what that is. When he finished, he wiped his hand and threw it at John Doe. Again, nobody in P. Diddy's circle saying, "Hey, you don't do stuff like that." Pulled him back from his worst impulses. They let him run wild. He's looking like, this is disgusting. Very disgusting. Then he kind of brushed it off, and sometimes we have essential people that do how can I say crazy things. I'll put it like that. So he continues on, and something happens to where CJ Wallace, it takes him some time to get back to John Doe. So when he does get back to him, then they started hitting it off better. You know, CJ felt more comfortable with him doing his dad's documentary. And he's like, okay, I think that he'll put my dad in a good light, blah, 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 blah. Then John Doe tells CJ what P. Diddy did. And he felt that he was close enough to where he could say, hey, P. Diddy did this, and He did this to your father's clothing, and he threw it at me. I don't know what that's about. I felt some kind of way about it, felt kind of uncomfortable, and he left it like that. And he felt it like that, and he felt like that. So CJ Wallace was like, how can he do that? Blah blah blah. Do that to my dad's stuff. Blah blah blah. Not so much about him, but his father. Which, okay, I get, but he should have thought about the guy that's doing a documentary. I mean, he was also okay. That was just freaking disgusting. That's disgusting, in my humble opinion. I mean, you just well, some time went past. The project stalled, and he got a call from CJ saying, "Hey, come to Revolt. Let's go ahead and kick up the documentary again." And John Doe's like, "All right, okay, to get this done." And and he felt good about it. He didn't have any reservations. Like, no, I shouldn't do it. No, I said about that P Diddy. None of that occurred. Well, no, wait a minute. Those feelings did not even come to play. So So he goes. They pick him up from the airport, took him over to Revolt. Now, here's the interesting part. He didn't know that where Revolt was filmed is CJ Wallace's home. Okay? So, when he gets there, they're doing work and well, I guess maybe CJ was like stalling stuff. Then P. Diddy comes in. And then P. Diddy has some words with him. And then he pulled out his tallywhacker and put it in his. Mm. This is what he's saying. He's saying that is what P Diddy did, and then he also mentioned that he was backdoored. That's a level of, especially someone who does not live in that lifestyle, who does not. Um, uh, that right there is just not how he operates, and there's nothing wrong with, whomever you love and however you choose to express your love. But when you force it on somebody, that's something which you don't do. He said, I want to go. P. Diddy did what he did. He said, I want to go. P. Diddy left. Okay, P. Diddy already left. He goes, I want to go. He was like, he said that he was traumatized. He was traumatized. And there were people coming around following him, basically saying, shut your mouth, not saying it, not verbalizing it, but their presence gave him the thought, keep your mouth shut if you know what's good for you. Okay? Those are my words. So when he saw Cassie drop her lawsuit, he's like, okay, Cassie's doing it because Cassie has been, whether if you want to call her a victim, a willing victim, a victim turned villain, however you want to put it. He saw that. He saw Little Rod drop his lawsuit, and and Cassie got 30 million, and Little Rod. I got to go back and take a look because I didn't keep up with it. But however, this guy John Doe, he said he did not want to sue for money. No, he'd been getting away with this far too long based on what other people were saying. So he filed a a a state criminal lawsuit in Los Angeles. Somebody Somebody is finally doing what should be done. Okay, suing civilly is a recourse, but it doesn't always stop the person's behavior. He said, I'm not looking at the money, I'm looking at him staying in jail. What he has done to me, I'm pretty sure he has done to other people because what he has done was so easy for him to do. And like I said earlier, me, have a problem with people who only sue civilly, who only go after the money, and it doesn't stop them from doing what they, from doing what they have done, and to stop that behavior, to stop that. So he said, if he chooses, if he chooses, then he may go civilly, but he first wants to get the criminal conviction because he said the 4 years is not long enough. He got off on some serious charges. Serious. The Mann Act. Let me see. I can't think of it right off the top of my head. I can't think of it. But I'm just like, this is shaking Hollywood, shaking the the movie and not the movie industry, but the music industry, the entertainment industry, shaking it at its very core. Now, if this John Doe is able to prevail and put P. Diddy in jail for serious time. Now, let's backtrack for a little bit. Same with entertainment. How many of you remember Danny Masterson on that 70s show, The Stoner? Well, he is doing 30 years in jail for grape juice. Grape juice. Now, he's a Scientologist, and these girls said that he had grape juice them and then intimidated them. And then by him being an actor, um, they were lenient on some things that his behavior was, and his parents were high up in Scientology. So they broke away and went through local authorities. And the first time they did it, they lost. They went back again and they got a conviction. And he's doing 30 years in jail for grape juice. That was big. And they were able to prove their case. Now, back to P. Diddy. If P. Diddy is convicted of of backdooring this guy and doing making him do fellatio and then intimidating him, which they were able to look at in the Cassie's lawsuit that turned into a federal lawsuit, which I think they should have kept it local. But that's my personal opinion. They would have been able to get convictions in the state of California, the state of New York, and Florida, because he was in all those places doing those things. So, so there's going to be a huge difference in 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 the music industry, and I think that is a good thing because the casting couch and now having people use their influence to make people do certain things. Now the one I'm waiting for is going to be huge. Jay-Z. Everybody in Rock Nation, affiliated with Rock Nation, um, P. Diddy, he's the first one. Jay-Z, DJ Khaled, Fat Joe, and there's one more that think. I can't think of his name right now, but there's one more. Five of them. Fat Joe. I'm looking into him. Oh my goodness, Fat Joe. You can't make the horrible things up that he has done and was able to get away with due to by him being Fat Joe and being associated with P. Diddy. But with all that going on, what are your thoughts? I mean, do you think that John Doe has a case to really put P Diddy to keep him in jail? Because a a he didn't P Diddy he kept all of his assets, so they weren't able to get him on the RICO. So the RICO did not bankrupt him. So he still has Star Island. He still has. Let's not forget about his two mansions in Belize. Let's not forget about that. And Belize just turned into another part of the triangle of H card children trafficking. It was El Salvador, Honduras, and Mexico. Now it's El Salvador, Honduras, Mexico, and Belize. So that has turned into due to P Diddy and his former rapper Shine that tried to become the prime minister of Belize, and him bringing all that money into Belize. When all the money came in, the crime came in. It wasn't like that Belize didn't have crime, but it took it to another level because they brought H car trafficking children, and that was back in what was it, 2013, when Bad Boys record went down to uh, not Bermuda, no, Barbados, Barbuda, those countries down there, to where he brought Rocky Bad Boys records and saying that he was looking for talent and brought Beyonce's choreographer back at that time, teaching people how to do all the single ladies dance. And you had all the people doing all the single ladies dance, and they were paying the choreographer $50. Now, back at that time, what, 2013, $50 was a lot of money, especially down there. But he was looking for models between the ages of 3 and 45. I'll say it again. I don't think you heard me. Between the ages of 3 and 45. So he was looking for models. Now, my only question is, where are those models at now? It's his level of how can I say? Oh, I can't even think of a word. Creepiness has extended all the way around the world. He is connected with other people. There's this guy over there in the UK. He's a DJ, and you can't get in to the UK until you go through him. And I can't think of his name right now. Oh my goodness! I didn't write it down in my notes. But his reach goes around the world. And if John Doe can set a precedent to take a mogul, now Danny Masterson going to jail for what he has done. But if you take down a mogul like P Diddy, that will send shockwaves. And then imagine all the people that he has blackmailed that has crazy, crazy, crazy stuff on them. Um, it's going to be quite interesting. Now, we already know some of the people that were there. If you want to think of anything crazy, Kardashians, Jenner, they're there. The fact, oh my goodness, the Kardashians, Jenner are such, how can I say, attention grabbers. They need the attention for clicks, to keep traffic going to them. Oh, how you doing? Keep traffic going to them. So this right here is it. P Diddy has such a circle. It's huge. It's huge. And then his circle leads into people like Ashton Kutcher. It leads into people like Leonardo DiCaprio. It leads into people like um, Paris Hilton, people like that. And it even leads into the British royalty. Oh my goodness. I mean, you have Prince William knighting everybody here. You're a sir, you're a knight, you're a knight, you're a double knight. And he was there. They tried to scrub things, but thank goodness for screenshots. Screenshots, it puts Prince William there. Unfortunately, along with Prince Harry. I like Prince Harry. Prince William, to me, I don't like him. He doesn't seem to. Okay. Doesn't matter how I feel. It also has his two cousins, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenia, have them in that mix. And if you take a look at Prince Andrew, I mean, the 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 sickness. I'm just going to call it a sickness. I can't stand those little bikes. I want to take a stick and throw it in front of them. And that's my personal thought. anyway, anyway, but John Doe, back to him. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great thing that he's coming out. He's telling his story. Is he catching flack? Yes, he is. But when you have a person to where people have a thought of this person's a good person because when you see him out taking interviews, he's like this great person. He has this great personality, but that's on TV. Now, about 2 years ago, I did a video about the masks, the cry now, cry later. That's what I call it. Mask on, mask off. The people who you see on TV are not the people who they are off of TV. So as long as you keep that understanding, um, you might want to believe what the people are saying, especially those who take life and limb saying, okay, this person is dangerous, so I'm going to put that out there. I mean, P. Diddy was so off the rocker that he tried to eliminate Marilyn Manson. I don't know if any of you know who Marilyn Manson is, but he has been in the music industry since the 1990s. And he made a big name for himself for like a shock rocker. And he made a critique on P. Diddy's video when he decided to become a rapper, which, hey, P. Diddy, you suck. You suck as a rapper, you do. And he took that Led Zeppelin song. He said da 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 da. I can't think of the name of it. Oh my, can't think of the name of it. But he did a rap video on top of it and totally screwed it up. He screwed it up, and the theatrics, him jumping. I mean, he's just a horrible actor. He's a horrible what do you call it? A rapper, horrible person, horrible husband, horrible boyfriend, horrible employer. I mean, a horrible citizen. I mean, it just goes down the line. P. Diddy is all of those things that has been proven to be true. We were like, oh, he's a horrible person. I believe it. I believe it. But he cornered Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson was going to music awards, and P. Diddy has his line of SUVs push his Marilyn Manson's limousine, pushes it over to the side, and then he and P. Diddy and his, as they call goons, get out, and they were pounding on Marilyn Manson's limousine. Then Marilyn Manson's guards get out and try to, and Marilyn Manson, he's just sitting there listening to music. And he did say that he looked over and he saw P. Diddy pounding on the limousine window, and he was scared. He was like, I mean, who wouldn't be scared seeing that crazy stuff? Who wouldn't be scared? Now, what I was surprised was who defended Marilyn Manson. When Marilyn Manson was going through everything he was going through that, his ex girlfriend, her wing of wing women attacking him, all types of stuff, throwing lawsuits and everything all over the place, trying to sue him into oblivion. Well, Kanye West, he went to a P Diddy. P Diddy was having something, and he had his t-shirt something about "I support Marilyn Manson." I have that picture someplace, and he was that P Diddy was that reckless, and he had that much influence. But my question is this: where did he get that influence from? Who gave them back? Who gave him that power to do that? Nobody does anything unless if there is a way of getting out of the trouble. Now there are people saying that you have these companies, and he was affiliated with the Phoebe three-letter agencies on private jets. My thing is this: who financed that stuff? Who gave him access to that stuff? Because having a private jet, you need a lot of money. Just on gas alone will put you to poorhouse. Flying here and there will put you in the poorhouse. So would it be somebody like Ron Burkle, who happens to be heavily invested in Boeing? Heavily invested. And some people suggest that Ron Burkle is P. Diddy's sugar daddy. Now, I'm going to say this to you. When P. Diddy left DC in the 80s, right? Late 80s, he left being Puff Daddy. And Puff Daddy was when Puff is when you would puff up and ready to fight. When he gets to New York, he becomes P. Diddy, and then all the you can't make this stuff up. I don't know. Maybe that was him all along, and that was always him. We don't know, but it's quite interesting, very interesting. So this is what I hope to see. This is what I hope to see. I hope to see more people filing for criminal lawsuits instead of financial. Um, Financial has a lesser bar. It's more likely than not, and not beyond the preponderance of evidence. So, oh man, all this noise. I just want to get out. So I'm hoping that John Doe does prevail, because as I was listening to him, I'm going to get the lawsuit because then he goes into great detail about what occurred. Always something going on. Well, he gets into everything that occurred in the lawsuit, so got to check that out. And my allergies are kicking my butt being out here by the street. But what are your thoughts? Put something down in lawsuit. Do you think that John Doe is going to prevail and going to keep Diddy in jail? Because P Diddy got 4 years. So now, I gotta say, John Doe, he he timed it right, in my humble opinion. He timed it right. And being a heterosexual man, being a heterosexual man, or being any type of man, whether if you're heterosexual or homosexual, it's kind of hard to come out and say, "Hey, he did this to me." I mean, it takes a lot, and you got to shout out to Little Rod. He suffered a lot of humiliation. He suffered a lot. So shout out to Little Rod, and I hope when John Doe does come out, and I think he may because it seems like people are noticing who he actually is. Because the stuff that I was reading names him, I'm like, yeah, that's him, that's him. But I never commented saying that's him. I'm just shaking my head. Oh, yeah, that's him. So, so for him to prevail. So, on that note, please like, subscribe, and also, if you want to jump out the window, please donate. Big Girl Diary, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, any and all things help because I have been demonetized. Ah, man. On that note, I want to thank you. Thank you for stopping by.